Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James Brino, and this is the conference room with James Brino. Today we have a fun-filled day of the talk show, and but I am feeling a little under the weather, so excuse me if I do sneeze during the middle of the talk show today. But today is July 7th, 2014. The time right now is 7:37 p.m. And there are a lot of different things happening today in history. What happened this day in history? This is going to be a chronological timetable of historic events that occurred on this day in history. Historical facts of the day in military, politics, science, music, sports, arts, entertainment, and much more. So we can start with 1415. Hans Hus, a Czech who spoke out against church corruption, is burned at the stake as a heretic. 1519, Charles of Spain is elected Holy Roman Emperor of Barcelona. And then 1535, Sir Thomas More is beheaded in England for refusing to swear allegiance to King Henry VII as head of the church. We can go down to 1770. The entire Ottoman fleet is destroyed by the Russians at the Battle of the Seine. Fast forward to 1835, John Marshall, the third Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, dies at the age of 79. 2 days later, he is tolling in honor in Philadelphia. The Liberty Bell cracks. Fast forward to 1854, the Republican Party is officially organized in Jackson, Michigan. Very exciting day. 1885, Louis Pasteur gives the first successful anti-rabies shot. 1944, Lieutenant Jackie Robinson of the U.S. Army, while riding a civilian bus from Camp Ho, Texas, refuses to give up his seat to a white man. 1945, B-29 Superfortress bomber attacks Honshu, Japan, using 2 firebombing techniques. And then 1982, President Ronald Reagan agrees to support U.S. troops in the peacekeeping unit in Brit. So born on July 6th, John Paul Jones, naval hero of the American Revolution. 1910, Dorothy Kristen, opera singer. 1921, Nancy Reagan, wife of President Ronald Reagan. 1927, Bill Haley, rock and roll musician. And 1935, Dalai Lama, Tibetan religious leader, winner of the Nobel Prize. So we're gonna actually move into some of the current things that are happening today, and one of those. Sorry about this. My having a couple technical difficulties. Okay, so I think I got that. So we can move into some current news at this point. 6 Jewish suspects arrested in slaying of Arab Spring. This is from the Associated Press. Israel arrested 6 Jewish suspects Sunday in the grisly slaying of a Palestinian teenager who was abducted and burned alive last week, a criminal that set off a wave of violence, protest in Arab sections of the country. Leaders of the Jewish state appealed for a claim amid signs and death was robbed for the recent killing of 3 Israeli teenagers. This is a quote: "We will not allow extremists, it does not matter from which side, to inflame the religion and cause bloodshed," Prime Minister Benjamin said in a nationally televised statement. "Murder is murder," he also added. He promised to prosecute these responsible to the full extent of the law. So then we move on to top news today. Iraq analyzing tape to show top militants. Iraq security agencies are working to verify the authenticity of a video that supposedly shows the leader of the Sunni extremist group that has declared an Islamic State in a large chunk of its territory and controlling leading prayers this week in northern Iraq, authorities say. The video has shown Abu Bakr al-Abab, the head of Islamic State group, was reportedly filmed on Friday at the Great Mosque in Iraq's second largest city, Mosul. It was posted and at least 2 websites known to be used by the organization and bore the logo of its media arms. So we're going to go into safety, bike safety. And this is something that is very interesting. The Bike Walk Connecticut released its first annual scorecard rating each town in the state for bike and pedestrian safety. So if you imagine this, this is something that is the first thing that came out, and how it's done is each municipal center hands out scorecards to some of its people, and and then the people of the town then then they score. So the rankings were compiled using an online survey of how bike and pedestrian-friendly local residents think their town on municipal leadership and engagement efforts, including the creation of local bicycle pedestrian master plans, whether local task force or advisory groups have been established, whether a complete street policy has been enacted, and related public outreach programs. The survey, this is a quote, the survey and scorecards are expected to be conducted annually as part of the Bike Walk Connecticut's new 5-year initiative to make it safer and easier to walk and bike by implementing complete streets in cities and towns across Connecticut, the organization said in a data release. Check out the map above, or you can find it right here. I'm going to be showing the map through a screen share. And you can see that there are different colors, and you can tell that the lighter colors are bad, and the darker blue, so you can see right here are the very, very good ratings that people have gotten, and the in between is in between. So you can tell that the majority of the state of Connecticut is not very friendly to pedestrians and bikers, but at some points you do see that they are very friendly. So you can look at we can go for example Berlin, Connecticut. Their final score was 2,500, and the highest score that any town actually received is only up to 74.5%, because no town actually got a 100% ranking. So the final score was 25.3. Then you can move to somewhere like let's go to Woodbury. Their final score was 8 out of 100, so they are a very, very light blue. We can go, we can go to a town like Southington. Southington had a score of 35.6 out of 100, and that is where I am located. And as many of you may know, we have a Rails to Trails system throughout Connecticut, and it passes right through some of these towns that have very high ratings. And the Rails to Trails was the Farmington Canal many, many years back, and then it turned to railroad. And after the railroads were done, they went to Rails to Trails, which is a paved biking, walking path that is used to bike and walk. So that is another factor that could have contributed to the rating, because there are many people that pass through Connecticut, Southington, and then this Rails to Trails eventually is supposed to stretch all the way from Florida to Vermont. So it's supposed to be something very, very long and very, very interesting. So we can move on to another top story today. It's nonprofit contraceptive cases next to justices. This is from the Associated Press in Washington. How much distance from an immoral act is enough? That's the difficult question behind the next legal dispute over religion, birth control, and the health law that is likely to be resolved by the Supreme Court. The issue is more than 4 dozen lawsuits from faith-affiliated charities, colleges, and hospitals that oppose some or all contraception as immoral is how far the Obama administration must go to accommodate them. The justices on June 30th revealed businesses with religious objections to their obligation to pay for women's contraceptive among a range of preventative services the new law calls for in their health plan. So the new law that they're referring to in this is the Obamacare law, the Affordable Care Act. And I know many of you are very familiar with the Affordable Care Act. Uh, Personally, in my opinion, the Personal Care Act does have flaws, and we all know that it does have flaws. I'm not just talking about the about the website, but I'm talking about the way at which it was created, the way in which was presented, and the way that it was voted in by the Senate and the House of Representatives. So I do believe that is a great idea of what they're trying to do, but at this point, I don't think it was prepared enough, and I don't think it was ready, um, and it was too complicated. Um, I believe the last count that I heard it was 1,475 pages long. Um, and we all know that our representatives, senators, and representatives are not the most not lazy people in the world. They're I want to see some type of results as how many people actually read the entire front to back cover of the Affordable Care Act, and I want to see how many actually voted for and against it. But I know that it is something that sounds like a great idea now, and it will be one day, but when it first is implemented, it's going to take a really long time to perfect and a really long time to get the kinks out. Um, so there's all these different things about religion, religious-oriented nonprofit groups already opting out of covering the contraceptives, and that's going to be a debate for many, many, many years to come. Um, and then so on to more exciting news. Pro-Russian separatists vow to keep up the fight. This is in the Ukraine by Associated Press. Discouraged by defeat, pro-Russian separatists vow to keep fighting the government in Kiev from the largest city in eastern Ukraine, where they regrouped Sunday after being driven out of a key stronghold. At a rally in the center of Dovets Square, the rebels were cheering on by thousands of supporters waving their flags from Russia and the self-proclaimed independent People's Republic, the Donbas People's Republic. Many urged Russian President Vladimir Putin to quickly come to their aid, but there was no comment Sunday from Russia. While the rebel withdrawal Saturday from Slovakia, a city 100,000 where they held for months, was not a total victory, President Petro Poroshenko said, purging the city of the insurgents, said, incredibly symbolic importance. It was unclear whether the government, after abandoning a ceasefire last week and going back on an offensive, was now winning the fight that has spluttered for months. And this has been going on for many, many months, and we're just waiting to see what Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, and President Obama of the United States have to say about each of these. It's unclear at this point what's going on in Russia because there's a lot of outraged civilians, outraged pro-Russian militants, insurgents, and we don't know if they will listen to Vladimir Putin. If they do, what will happen? So we're going to go on to an important topic, and that is veterans. Veterans turn to the American Legion for medical help. A counsel at the local Veterans Affairs office looked at Rebecca King, a victim of domestic violence and abuse, who was seeking help for depression, and told her she would not be able to see a psychologist. She looked too nice and put together to someone depressed, King was told. Like others who failed to receive help at troubled VA offices, the Army veteran then gave up. I have a son. I'm his only support system. I have to keep it together, King recalled telling the VA system in El Paso, trying to explain why she didn't look to help. She is now among nearly 1,800 people who have turned to the American Legion, which has held town hall meetings and opened temporary crisis centers in Phoenix, North Carolina, and El Paso. People can gain access to health benefits, schedule doctor's appointments, enroll in the VA, and even give back and get back pay. The centers come in the wake of VA scandal that brought light, long wait times and false record keeping, among other things, that are being established by the town where the VA audit showed wait time were longer. Between now and October, crisis centers will come in Fort Collins, Colorado, St. Louis, Missouri, and Baltimore, Maryland. And this is something that is near and dear to my heart because I recently had a teacher at Selvington High School that is a veteran himself and has written a actually he's going to be writing three books. Already two are published, and they're the Pain series. You can look it up on Amazon. So the first book is Pain. Uh, Time of Anarchy. Sorry. The second one is actually Pain, Unreal Pain. It is UN, so United Nations, Unreal Pain, and you can find those all in the Amazon bookstore, or as well as the Apple iBookstore. And all the money that is being donated for the book, all of the money raised will be going to the Wounded Warrior Foundation for the building of, or actually the Wounded Warrior Foundation and the Fisher House Fund, because they are trying to build a Fisher House in New Haven, Connecticut. So a lot of the money is going to that. So I highly recommend the book. I am in the middle of the first book right now. I'm going into the second book, and I am very excited to read the book. They are sci-fi fantasy books, and they take place in um, the now taken world, so kind of an apocalyptic type scenario, but it's not fully zombie related like that. So I'm actually going to be reading a couple pages of that to you right now. I just have to make sure that I'm on the right page. So during that, I'm going to be handing off to some of this pretty awesome music. So stay put, and we'll reconvene right in a couple minutes.
On my mind, when you stop to look so we can do anything you like. No such thing as no when I'm with you. When they dim the lights, coming closer, smell your sweet perfume, heating up the night. Touch me now like there's no time to lose. No doubt, you got me dropped down to your feet. I can't control myself. You got me feeling for your lust. One touch will make me
All right, so I am back, and we are here, and I'm going to be reading the first couple of pages of Pain, Time of Anarchy. The author is J.B. Durbin, so John Brian Durbin. He is a retired infantryman who served 23 years in the United States Army. He attended Western Kentucky University, where he majored in political science. An airborne ranger, he served in a variety of positions, including infantry platoon leader, company commander, and battalion executive officer, as well as the chief of war plans for U.S. Army Europe. He also taught at Combined Army and Services Staff School in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. After leaving the service, he earned a Master's of Science in Organizational Behavior, then became a certified teacher and began teaching history at a local high school. Lieutenant Colonel, USA retired, Durbin now resides in Connecticut with his wife and two dogs. He enjoys reading as a conditioning coach for the high school football team, playing golf and writing. So this book is Pain, Time of Anarchy, and it's a book that is very interesting if you start reading it. So you can find it on Amazon. But I'm going to be reading the first couple of pages to you, and it's very interesting. Very interesting book. So I'm going to be pulling up the Amazon, actually Amazon screen share. So let me just find it for you here. Start screen share, and you can tell this is Pain, Time of Anarchy, Volume 1, paperback. It was published on August 10th, 2013. Buy on the Kindle for $3.99 or paperback for $9.89. Remember that there is every penny of this book, except for the printing costs, will be donated to the Wounded Warriors Foundation, and the Fisher House. Um, so this is the first part of the book, and I'm going to be reading it to you. Also, take a look at the Facebook page. Um, this is the Facebook page. This is the author, John Brian Durbin. You can tell that he's very, very cool, cool looking, and um, I was just very reading this book, so I'm going to be reading you the first page of the first book. Um, so here we go. The rumor was that it had sorry. The rumor was that it had been a CIA manufactured plague, bioengineered to attack only to eliminate cocaine production and end the addiction that was so rampant in the United States. The problem began when the plague mutated and began to destroy many of the chlorophyll-producing plants it infected. Within 2 years, the plague killed off most of the recently regrown rainforest of South America, creating a tremendous strain on the environment. Oxygen depletion, massive flooding, and mudslides due to deforestation followed. Nothing would grow at high altitudes, and no one could survive above 10,000 feet without oxygen tanks. Grain crops were the hardest hit. Soon, animals were dying from starvation. The famine and resulting exile reduced the population of South America by 80%. The rest of the world attempted to quarantine South America, but it was too late. Refugees flooded the seas and airports. The plague began to attack plants worldwide. Governments collapsed, and billions died. So that is the first page of the book, and it's very, very interesting. So the second book is called Unreal Pain by J.B. Durbin. And that is, I haven't gotten into that book yet, uh, but it seems as great as the first one. Um, so here's the Amazon page. Unreal Pain, Book 2 in the Pain series, Volume 2, by J.B. Durbin, author. This is $9.60 for paperback and $3.99 for Kindle version. So this is the book 2 in the 3-book saga. So I'm also going to be reading you the first chapter, I would say, or the first couple paragraphs. So it says here, the plague destroyed billions of people. 1 minute. There we go. Book 2 of the Pain series, A Plague that destroyed billions of people is over, but a more insidious plot is hacked. One of threatened the policy of everyone on the planet. Unaware of the new threat, Michael Payne Martin joins the United Nations military force and is sent on a mission to stop a potential war between Siberian guerrillas and the rest of Europe. Then things begin to go wrong. Stephen Corvus, founder and CEO of the Corvus Foundation, attempts to establish control over the world. And vulgar General Josh Martin, Payne's father. Josh works with Corvus to discredit the United Nations and destroy the recently established government of the United States of New York. Personal and political intrigue bound in his fight between two conflicting ideas of future world and who will ultimately rule. So that is the second book, and the third book has not come out yet. And Mr. J.B. Durbin could not tell me any more information about it because he wanted it to be a surprise. So if you guys really want to look at this book, so it's Unreal Pain, Time of Anarchy, or sorry, excuse me, Pain, Time of Anarchy, and Unreal Pain. Please look into those. They are very, very interesting to watch. Or to read, and I believe that you would have a really, really good read. So on to U.S. political news. Boehner, sorry, why we must now sue the president. This has been a non-stop debate on political news, and I have no idea. I don't no idea why, really. John Boehner, Republican of Ohio, the Speaker of the House, wants to sue the president. This is from CNN. Every member of Congress swore an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So did President Barack Obama. But too often, over the past 5 years, the president has communicate. Not really sure what that word is. The American people and their elected representatives through executive action, changing, creating his own laws, and excusing himself from enforced statute he is sworn to uphold. At times, even boasting about his willingness to do it. And if daring, the American people should stop him. That's why later this month he will bring legislation in the House that would authorize the House of Representatives to file a suit in an effort to compel President Obama to follow his oath of office and faithfully execute the laws of the country. The president's response. So sue me. Um, what's disappointing is the president's flippant dismiss of the Constitution we are sworn to defend. It is ultimately beneath the dignity of the office. I know the president is frustrated. I'm frustrated. The American people are frustrated too. Boehner's lawsuit is a stunt, said by Obama. And we all know that the political system in the United States is very, very corrupt. And very, very, I wouldn't say corrupt, I would say very, very left and right wing. Um, there's always a Republican doing something with the Republican Party, hating the Democratic Party, and there's always a Democrat doing things with the Democratic Party and hating the Republican Party. It always is going to be like that. We all say, "Oh, bipartisan relationships, bipartisan relationships," but I'm not really sure if bipartisan relationships are really going to work in this time. In the history of the United States. So you all know that I'm a very, very big Civil War buff. So we're going to talk about Civil War today. And there are many, many different things that happen because it was a 5-day war. So today is July 6th in 1863 skirmish at Williamsport and Hagerstown and Maryland. Sorry. So we're gonna go to 1854, May 30th, 1854. I'm really sure why I said 1854, but we're gonna go to July 6th. July, October, July. No, I'm not really sure what's going on at this point in the American Civil War, but I know that it was 151st anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg. And something that's really interesting is hardtack. If you've never had hardtack, what I'd like you to do is just go into your kitchen, mix flour, water, and salt into a bowl, and then cook it at about 450 degrees. And then you'll find a cracker that's very hard, very, very hard, because you would keep it in there for about, I don't know, maybe an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. It would turn very hard. So if you'd like to make that, I'm not saying you should make that, just type into Google hardtack and it will come up with a picture. And it's something very hard. It's kind of like a cracker they would eat. And if you would like to have one, just follow the recipe on. There's a lot of different recipes. I would suggest following the most historically accurate one. But that's what the hardtack is. I don't know why we're talking about hardtack now, but we are. But other than that, I'm not really sure. If you have, but I'm a big history buff, so you all know that I would be talking about that at any point in time. So I'm not sure if there's anything else we should talk about today. Oh, the World Cup. So the World Cup is coming very close, very close. So Brazil 2014. Dutch and Costa Rica dreamed in shootout. The Netherlands had a sweat against Costa Rica before eventually overcoming the 2014 World Cup surprise package and a penalty shootout and a booking place in the semifinals. So the Netherlands are now in the semifinals, along with Brazil and Argentina. So there is a game on Tuesday. The game is going to be, I believe it's at 3 o'clock. Let me just double check right now. I would suggest getting the official FIFA app from the from the App Store. So let's see when the matches are. So Saturday, Argentina. So Tuesday at 1600 hours. So that's going to be 4 o'clock. It's Brazil versus Germany. Wednesday's Netherlands versus Argentina at 1600. So that is at 4 o'clock as well. And then it's going to go Saturday. One second. So Brazil and Colombia. Brazil won. So Saturday, Netherlands 0-0. So Tuesday at 4 o'clock, Brazil versus Germany, and Wednesday, 4 o'clock, Netherlands versus Argentina. Other than that, that's all that we have time for tonight. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Stay classy, United States. One second, actually, we're not finished just quite yet. I just want to give you a overview of what our schedule is going to be like for the rest of the week. So tonight, Sundays are usually going to be at 7:30 at night. Um, and then Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays are going to be around 9:30. Friday is going to be around 10:30. Saturdays are going to be there'll be no show on Saturday. Um, there'll be no shows on Saturdays. Sundays will be 7:30, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be around 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock to 9:30. Other than that, thank you very much.